Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
You know the movie 300, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what did they do with the physically or mentally disabled babies in or around Sparta?
Well, there was this big giant hole, and they sent the babies down there to live and thrive for about 5 seconds.
Right. They threw them off a fucking cliff.
It wasn't a cliff, it was a hole.
Whatever.
Well, in the movie, it was a hole. Maybe in real life, it was just a cliff.
They threw them away.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. And I don't remember there being too many elderly people in that movie either.
No, but then again, it was a movie.
So
People didn't live long back then.
No, think about like Greek society.
Okay.
The people that helped it thrive did so by holding down the differently abled and casting aside the elderly. And then in Japan, they've got something known as, let me pronounce this, ubasute, where they just take old people and they just leave them in the woods. I have come to realize from working in corrections that there are a lot of elderly people and mentally ill people and extremely disabled people that as much as you think of the welfare mom with too many kids, it's those three groups that are milking us dry. I know they cannot help that they're old and mentally ill or physically disabled, as much as some bitch in the hood can keep her knees together and stop shitting out welfare babies, right?
Yeah.
So being that we spend so much to keep these people going that don't necessarily contribute to society in a traditional and really relevant to most of us sort of way, what if, and this is an extremely dark episode with a very devil's advocate tinge to it, what if just the elderly that are like demented and the Alzheimer's patients and shit like that? What if you take people that are severely mentally ill?
I know somebody with dementia.
I think my mom has it too, and it's very brave of you to bring that up.
Evil.
You son of a bitch!
And then, unfortunately, like you're talking about the physically disabled. Would it help our society survive better if we just didn't help them and left them to their own devices? Because in America, we do a very excellent job of taking care of them, and I'm not saying we shouldn't. But from an outsider's completely objective standpoint, where you're looking at the X's and O's, when you're looking at the sheer numbers and the amount of financials going out and the lack of coming in.
And you want to keep us in the black.
Does it make sense for us to take care of the extremely old and demented or the extremely mentally ill, the people that are so fucking messed up we got to lock them up and they're on MA to pay for them to be at a facility their whole life, which still fucking happens when you could just take one of those little cattle bolt thingies and in the head and they're done, like they do to cows at the slaughterhouse.
Survival of the fittest. It happens in nature.
Aren't we weakening our society?
We're weakening our own society by doing this, yes. You know, you can only go as fast as the slowest person in your group. Unless, you know, you're smart and just say, fuck that person, keep on running.
And if the person that's the slowest in the group happens to be in one of those little blowy straw steered wheelchairs and pooping their pants all day, well, they're not in the hunter-gatherer group, are they? They're in the, here's some scraps, sorry that we're not, you know, taking you out for adventures or changing your hip bag more often. Yes. But, you know, those of us that are ambulatory, we have to help the rest of the group while you sit here and soak up precious resources.
I just want to state for the record at this point, it's like, this is all hypothetical devil's advocacy, as Jmann said previously.
I'm just saying.
No, it's honestly things I've thought about before in the past. It's just like, why do we hang on to the most worthless people in society? I mean, I hate to label it that way, but yeah, I mean, do we need to hang on to the mentally ill? I mean, how many mental hospitals are there? These people will never be cured. They can't be. I mean, this is just a mental disorder.
Well, think of 100 years ago. If you had Down syndrome, they send you to a fucking loony bin.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
if you were depressed,
at that point,
they
it would've been more
take
him
you.
to just kick you down a well.
In some places, let the doctors try to rape the depression out of you. This is a fucking thing that is real. Google it.
I don't think I want to.
Yes, they would take these depressed women and then they'd fucking basically rape them with dildos to cure them of depression.
Oh, okay. That wasn't like the doctors doing.
I'm
this
sure
thing.
they were using their own
She needs a big
penises
D.
also. Putting their peignoir in their vagina.
Maybe some of them probably were. Let's face it. Not everybody that works at a mental institution is all there.
Right. So when you're saying, well, we take care of these people, that's what makes us different than animals. Because in nature, it is survival of the fittest. A squirrel that's blind is not going to find too many nuts. And I doubt the other squirrels are bringing them fucking acorns to stock up for winter because they feel bad for, the Stevie Wonder of the group.
Yeah. No, so you've seen the movie North, right?
No.
With Elijah
I know
Wood?
of it with Elijah
Okay.
Wood. And he flies around trying to find parents,
He's
right?
trying to find a new set of parents. He has like a certain number of days to do it. And one set of parents he goes and talks to is they're Eskimos. And there's at one point where it's just like, well, we're going to take Grandpa off to his new life. And he's like, oh, really? And it's funny. It's like a carnival ride. They're all these Eskimos are waiting in line. And the one Eskimo puts their grandpa on a little ice sheet. And it's got like an armchair and a lamp and all that. And it's like, bye, Grandpa. Good luck in the afterlife. And he kind of just floats away, and North's grandpa, quote unquote, his comes up, and it's just got a little wooden stool on it. And he goes and sits on it. He's like, if you change your mind, the wind's taking me that way. And, but like I said, they got, the Eskimos did it. They got old. They sent their old off to die, I guess with some humility, out in the middle of nowhere on a little sheety ice.
Well,
What a shitty way to die.
think about if you ever been in like a rest home.
Well, I worked in a nursing home for assisted living center nursing.
Okay,
home
there
for
you go.
A year and a half.
Expound upon that one. What'd you see?
A lot of people spending a lot of money to do practically nothing.
Right. And how many of them would just be sitting in their chairs, pissing themselves and taking a nap in the middle of the day?
Ooh, 50% of them at least.
Food crumbs in the corner of their mouth, fucking smelling terrible, unbathed, whiskers all over the women's faces.
The one
Women do not
ward-
age gracefully.
The one ward, you had to do a code to get in there and a code to get out of there, because that was where all the dementia patients were and everything. And it was just, I hated going in there with the food carts, because the one lady was always just like, can you take me home? This isn't my home. It's like, I've been here 6 months. This is your home. I don't know what to say to the lady either. But I mean,
You just say, no, I cannot. Here's your Jell-O.
and well, I didn't serve. I just brought the cart down. But I mean, like, it's these people aren't productive to society anymore. Their families are spending thousands of dollars a month. I think
Thousands!
I think the minimum you had to pay to have a relative there was like $2,000 a month.
Jesus Christ.
It's like that's both my paychecks after taxes. So
How much does a single 9mm bullet cost?
If you get the 50 round box, I think it breaks down to like 27 cents.
I'm just asking for a
You
friend.
can buy a bullet and rent a gun.
Just wondering. Just wondering how much ammunition costs while we're talking about old people that are useless.
And then it's just, society used to do it in the past, and we don't do it anymore, and it's all in the name of compassion. But these are the same people who say we can't kill rapists and all that, we can't kill dementias and mental patients, who say that it's okay to kill an unborn fetus, baby, whatever you want to call it.
Unborn
That's
fetus
segueing
baby.
into a different area, yeah.
And we can't even euthanize the drug sellers.
Depends on what kind of drugs. I'm cool with weed. But any of the other drugs, yeah. Whatever.
I didn't even need to bring that up. I just wanted to see if you'd catch me using the term drug seller like you did so many episodes ago when you were
seller?
struggling to say drug dealer. You're like, drug seller. I fucking quote that all the time when you're not here with the wife.
Gee, thank you.
When she stumbles forwards, I'm like, drug seller. Because she listened to me edit that episode.
And how hard did she laugh when she heard it?
She thought it was pretty good. Not as hard as I did. Because I fucking lived it. Then I got to relive it and show it to her. But the point is, would we, because the planet's overpopulated,
Definitely.
you think of getting rid of, like, the criminals and the shitty people, What about just like the fucking useless people? Everybody else would have to strive to stay busy and utile.
Wasn't there a movie like that one time?
I don't know.
It kind of pondered on that. Well, okay, it wasn't a movie specifically about society doing that.
Was it Cocoon?
No.
Are you sure it wasn't Cocoon?
Pretty sure.
We won't ever get any older, and we won't ever die. I've got diabetes.
No, it was a movie about a sunken ship. Okay.
Das Boot?
No.
U-571.
It sank upside down. No, it was a cruise liner.
Poseidon.
No. It sank. It was at the bottom of the ocean. It was more like a TV movie thing. There were 2 parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Chappaquiddick.
I don't know, okay? Shit.
That's a Kennedy. That's a whole Kennedy thing with Ted Kennedy killed a woman. Ted Kennedy killed a woman.
He did. And then they let him get away with it. He didn't even go to court. He didn't even get arrested.
So a capsized boat under the sea.
So the capsized shit under the ocean, and a huge air bubble was trapped in there, and they figured out how to create fresh air and all that, and they created their own little society in there. But as soon as you weren't able to work, there was a strange disease that would kill people.
Was it farts? Was
No.
it brown lung? They put him in a room and trapped him with farts?
Well, I can't remember what they called it in the movie, but...
AIDS.
No.
It was a metaphor for the 1980s in the gay community.
Anyway, getting to the point here, they killed off the useless members on that ship because, there's no use in hanging on to people who couldn't do their fair share. We're a society. We need to work together to survive. If you can't do your fair share, you're useless, you're gone.
I want to see a show where Gilligan's Island meets Survivor. Like, for real. They fucking put you in a life jacket and they just push you out. So the tide takes you out to sea because they don't want you anymore. And they tie your fucking hands and legs together so you're just floating, waiting for the sharks to get you or something.
I don't see how that's a Gilligan's Island meets Survivor.
Because, goddammit, the skipper would be gone so fast, that fat fuck, and the Howells, fuck those old pieces of shit. The only people you need are the Professor and Ginger and Mary Ann. You don't need Gilligan. Fucking Professor could be there with 2 hot broads banging them both.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was behind the scenes.
And then the Jeff whatever his nuts guy is that hosts Survivor, he could be like, aha, we have our winner.
I've never seen Survivor.
You don't want it. It sucks.
Okay.
And it's fake.
That's probably why I never watched it. It seemed like it was shitty.
Yeah. It's like the real world minus the sex. Or Road Rules minus the sex.
Those were okay at first.
No, they weren't.
No, they were.
No.
Yeah, they were.
All those people are getting voted off the island.
How about Temptation Island? Did you see that one?
No, because I don't want to watch that shit.
That one was very sexy.
I'm sure it was very sexy. It was also very fake.
These nuts!
But you know
All of them
what's
are
not
fake.
fake? Assisted living facilities.
Those aren't fake.
We have to assist you in
What's
living.
that?
I can bring you your meals, bring you your pills, which cost a fucking fortune, Medicare Part D, or I can bring you one meal containing one pill. And then you go to sleep. And then you go to sleep forever. And then we just...
You're a burden to your family.
You're not a thing anymore.
You're not a drain on our economy. And there's a new bed for someone else to try to get better before they get the pill.
Our folks are getting old.
Yeah.
My folks are 62 and 69, respectively, giggity.
68 and 60.
Huh?
68 and 60.
So in 10 years, they're going to be falling apart. My mom's already falling apart.
I think my dad's already falling apart. Definitely becoming antisocial since he retired.
Yeah.
So, not too far from now, I'm going to put him on a little sheet of ice with a little wooden stool and push him
Where are you
away.
going to get the stool?
I have a stool in my garage. So it won't be wooden. It'll have metal tube feet, and it'll have a cushion that's partially torn. So it'll have some comfort.
I'm definitely not giving either my parents a Viking funeral. That's a waste of a perfectly good boat.
How about a Jedi funeral?
I don't know what that means, and I just want to throw them both into one
Just
oversized
throw in a pile
casket.
of wood and set it on fire.
Okay, that also works.
You never watched the episode 6?
I'm sure I did, but I don't remember.
Okay. Luke burns Darth Vader on a pile of woods.
Did he?
Yeah.
Whatever. It didn't have Jar Jar Binks, so it was good.
Yeah. That's for damn
I'm
sure.
just saying that maybe we as a society, or humankind, would survive better and there'd be less tension if we weren't supporting all these weaker members.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a thought.
Little Timmy doesn't get to have children because he ate too many paint chips as a child. Oh, well.
He's got botulism. Give him the old cow bolt right in the head. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's what they use for kill cows before
It's a
slaughter.
pneumatic spike.
Yeah.
And then they zap him in the head, and if they don't drop dead right there, they flop around a bit, and then they go on the conveyor into the old meat processor.
Here you go into the meat wagon.
Yeah, well, fucking A. And that's what happens. But instead, we put people in wheelchairs with blankets on them and dress like it's January in the middle of August because I'm cold, and I don't have a lot of muscle mass, and I'm suffering from osteoporosis. And last week I farted so hard I threw my hip out. Why don't you come visit me on my birthday? Where am I? Where's my mommy? I want my mommy. I'm lost and I've shit myself.
Just sign
And
your
I...
grandma.
Cobalt!
She didn't sign.
It'd be terrible for the Special Olympics. It would completely decimate their roster. It's terrible. Horrible.
Well, they're contributing. They're giving other people false hope.
What are they giving us? False hope?
They're giving the metal makers a job to make metal.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're just retarded enough, you can be good at sports.
Wouldn't that be pretty much all sports?
No. No, because what's better than winning a gold medal at the Special Olympics?
What?
Not being retarded. Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It? Podcast show for the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.